cherry blossoms of Tsinghua University bloomed in soft pink clouds, their delicate petals drifting like secrets on the spring breeze. And amidst them, Lin Mei was the undisputed campus flower, a vision of ethereal beauty that drew all eyes. Her face, a flawless canvas of classical Chinese elegance, graced the covers of campus fashion blogs, and her every move seemed choreographed for maximum impact. She cultivated her allure with meticulous care, believing it was her most potent weapon, destined to unlock a world of luxury, influence, and unassailable social status. Her boyfriend, Zhang Wei, was her quiet antithesis. He was a kind soul, genuinely empathetic, with a heart as vast as his slightly rounded frame. His laughter, a boisterous, booming sound, often seemed too loud for the hushed university corridors, and his wardrobe consisted mainly of comfortable, often rumpled t-shirts and worn jeans. He possessed a disarming earnestness, a gentle nature that seemed out of place in the cutthroat ambition of Beijing's elite university. In Lin Mei's carefully constructed world, Zhang Wei was a temporary convenience, a warm, unassuming presence until a more suitable, more impressive suitor, one capable of propelling her into the stratospheric circles she craved, inevitably arrived. Unknown to Lin Mei, to the entire university, and indeed to the world beyond a select few, Zhang Wei was the sole, enigmatic heir to the One Corporation. This wasn't merely a company, it was a global empire, a shadowy conglomerate whose tendrils reached into every major industry. From cutting-edge AI and sustainable energy, to vast real estate portfolios and luxury hospitality. His comfortable t-shirts were woven from custom-blended fabrics by obscure Italian tailors. His worn jeans spoke denim from a heritage Japanese brand, and his slightly overweight physique was the quiet consequence of a brilliant mind, constantly engaged in complex global strategy sessions, prioritizing thought over physical aesthetics. He was living under an assumed name Zhang Lei, fulfilling a bizarre yet non-negotiable clause in his late grandfather's will. He had to spend one full year living as an ordinary citizen, with no access to his vast wealth or identity, before he could fully inherit the colossal enterprise. His grandfather, a man of profound wisdom and eccentricities, believed true character was forged in the crucible of anonymity. Their relationship had begun innocently enough, a casual connection forged in the late hours of the library. Zhang Wei, with his assumed name and unassuming presence, had helped Lin Mei with a particularly challenging programming assignment, his insightful mind surprising her. She had been flattered by his quiet attention, his genuine interest in her thoughts, and his surprisingly deep intellect, which she vaguely appreciated while overlooking his less-than-chiseled physique and lack of flashy possessions. As the months wore on, however, Lin Mei's aspirations intensified. The attention her beauty garnered, the whispers of potential high society matches fueled her desire for more. Zhang Wei's unwavering contentment, his lack of overt ambition, and his utterly unassuming nature began to grate on her, transforming from endearing quirks into irritating flaws. The turning point came on a sun-drenched afternoon by the tranquil university lake, a place often frequented by lovers and dreamers. Zhang Wei, ever the attentive boyfriend, had arrived with a small, heartfelt bouquet of delicate white lilies, her favorite, and a large bubble tea, exactly as she liked it. He found her sitting on a stone bench, gazing out at the shimmering water, her profile serene and beautiful. "Lin Mei," he began, his voice soft, a hint of concern in his eyes. She turned, her expression carefully composed, a practiced sadness softening her features. "Zhang Wei," she said, her voice a low, measured tone that made his heart clench. I don't think this is working anymore." For us, Zhang Wei's hopeful smile faltered, his eyes clouding with confusion. "What? Why? Is something wrong? Did I do something?" Lin Mei avoided his earnest gaze, focusing instead on a lone duck gliding across the lake. "It's just, we're different, Zhang Wei. Our paths are diverging. I have certain aspirations, certain expectations for my future, and well, you're not exactly helping me achieve them." Her eyes finally flickered towards him, then subtly, almost imperceptibly, lingered on his slightly protruding stomach and his comfortable, unstylish t-shirt. "I need someone more ambitious, more presentable, someone who understands the world I want to move in. A slow, painful wave of hurt washed over Jung Wei, a cold realization blossoming in his chest. He tried to maintain his composure, his voice a steady, low rumble. Presentable, Lin Mei. I care about you deeply. I support your dreams. Isn't that what truly matters? My character, my heart? Lin Mei scoffed, a brittle, dismissive sound that grated on his ears. Caring isn't going to open doors, Jung Wei. It's not going to get me into the circles I need to be in. Frankly, she rose from the bench, her movements fluid and dismissive, and tossed the bouquet of lilies carelessly onto the seat beside the half-finished bubble tea. You're a bit of an embarrassment. I deserve better than this. I deserve someone who can give me the world. With that, she turned on her heel, her perfectly styled hair swaying with each dismissive step, leaving him sitting alone by the lake. The rejected bubble tea growing warm in the afternoon sun, a symbol of their discarded connection. News of the breakup spread like wildfire through the university, fanned by Lin Mei's not-so-subtle remarks during campus social events. She spoke of finally being free to find someone worthy of her ambition, someone who understood the real world. Jung Wei, quiet and unassuming as ever, bore the humiliation silently. He poured himself into his studies, his genius finding solace in complex algorithms and theoretical physics. Counting down the days until the end of his grandfather's year-long condition, he knew his worth, not in wealth, but in character, and he held on to that quiet dignity. The day he officially inherited one corporation arrived with the deceptive quiet of a rising tide. There were no trumpets, no fanfare. Jung Wei, still operating under his alias, received a discreet, encrypted notification on his private phone. The legal formalities were complete. The vast, intricate machinery of a global empire, with its countless assets and immeasurable influence, was now entirely his. He didn't undergo an immediate, flashy transformation. That wasn't his style. His core demeanor, his genuine kindness, remained untouched. However, subtle changes began. He quietly engaged a world-class personal trainer and nutritionist. Not for vanity, but for the stamina required to helm a global powerhouse. His comfortable, understated wardrobe was gradually replaced with impeccably tailored suits that now accentuated a leaner, stronger physique he hadn't known he possessed. The booming laugh, once perceived as loud, now resonated with a new depth, carrying a note of quiet confidence and unshakable authority. Months later, the business world buzzed with unprecedented anticipation. One corporation, long a reclusive behemoth, announced a groundbreaking initiative, a massive, multi-billion-dollar investment in a state-of-the-art AI and robotics research facility to be established at Tsinghua University itself. The unveiling ceremony was a grand, star-studded affair attended by university officials, top government dignitaries, international press, and the very titans of industry who had once dismissed Jung Wei as a fat gut. The keynote speaker was the enigmatic chairman of one corporation, a man who had intentionally remained out of the public eye until this pivotal moment. As the sleek black limousine, custom-built and utterly discreet, glided to a halt at the entrance, a hushed reverence fell over the assembled crowd. The uniformed chauffeur opened the door and out stepped a man who looked strikingly familiar, yet utterly transformed. He was taller, broader in the shoulders, impeccably dressed in a suit that seemed to flow around him like a second skin. His presence radiated an undeniable quiet power that commanded immediate attention. His eyes, sharp and intelligent, held a knowing depth as they calmly scanned the eager faces. Lin Mei, who had leveraged every connection and used her considerable charm to secure a prominent media position at the event, gasped aloud. Her hand flew to her mouth, her carefully applied makeup unable to conceal the sudden pallor that washed over her face. Standing before her, the legendary chairman of one corporation, the man whose name was whispered in boardrooms across continents, the embodiment of unimaginable wealth and global influence, was none other than Jung Wei. He ascended the stage, his steps deliberate, his posture radiating an unshakable authority. He spoke eloquently about his vision for the future, about innovation and human potential, his voice calm, clear, and imbued with an undeniable conviction that resonated through the grand hall. Lin Mei watched from the audience, every word he uttered echoing in her ears, each perfectly tailored line of his suit a stark, painful contrast to the rumpled image she had so carelessly dismissed. The fat gut she had humiliated was now the most powerful, most sought-after man in the world. Their eyes met, briefly, during his speech. Jiang Wei's gaze, cool and composed, passed over her face without a flicker of anger or malice, only a faint, almost imperceptible hint of that old, quiet hurt, now replaced by an unshakable self-assurance. He didn't acknowledge her, didn't offer the slightest sign of their shared past. To him, Lin Mei was simply another face in the vast, anonymous crowd. After the ceremony, as Jiang Wei was besieged by a throng of awestruck admirers, eager reporters, and powerful dignitaries, Lin Mei desperately tried to reach him. Her composure shattered. She pushed through the crowd, her hand trembling as she finally managed to stammer his name. Jiang Wei. Lei. He paused, turning his head slightly towards her. His expression remained polite but distant, his eyes utterly devoid of the warmth she once knew. "Excuse me," he said, his voice smooth, professional, and perfectly devoid of any personal recognition. "Do I know you?" Lin Mei's meticulously constructed facade crumbled completely. The full, monumental weight of her blunder crashed down on her like a tidal wave. The man she had so cruelly ridiculed, the gentle soul she had so carelessly discarded, was not just wealthy, he was the wealthiest, a global force whose influence stretched far beyond anything she could ever have imagined. The doors she had hoped her beauty would open, the glittering world she had aspired to, were now firmly, irrevocably shut, guarded by the very man she had foolishly humiliated, blissfully unaware of the true depth of his worth. As Jiang Wei turned back to his engagements, a retinue of powerful figures parting the crowd for him. Lin Mei stood frozen, paralyzed by disbelief and a crushing wave of regret. The irony was a bitter, searing taste in her mouth. The beauty had broken up with the fat gut, and publicly humiliated him, completely oblivious to the fact that she had just cast away a future beyond her wildest dreams, all for a shallow, fleeting pursuit of superficial validation. In the end, his quiet kindness had been her greatest loss, and his immense, unseen strength had become her most profound, eternal regret. Thanks for watching. If you love the story of Lin Mei and Jiang Wei, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more compelling dramas. What did you think of Lin Mei's choice? What about Jiang Wei's incredible transformation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next captivating tale.